Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm starting my weekly reading vlog. So it is currently Wednesday, which means it's not going to be a full week. It's going to be more of a long weekend, short week kind of thing. It's the 1st of January, so I think it's an okay time to start a weekly reading vlog as it is the first week of the new year. And yeah, let's see how it goes. So I don't have anything planned specifically to read. I'm going to finish this book that I'm reading for uni, and that is Castle Rack Rent by Maria Edgeworth. It's only about 60 pages long. The rest of this is the second book, which is ennui and kind of index glossary terms and that kind of thing. Yeah, I've read the 50 pages of it this morning, got about 15 pages of it left, so I'll finish that this afternoon. It's a bit boring, a bit dull, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So it's my first book for uni and I start in a week, so need to get a shimmy on with that reading. So I'll probably be reading another book that's to do with uni this week. So I don't know what that will be now, probably something short, but it all depends. I don't know when my timetable gets released for what book is which, so I'll have to see what that is and then see which one's for next week, because that'll probably be a priority. The other book that I'm planning on reading and splitting up between the uni reading, just because I don't want to read uni books yet, so I'm going to put it off as long as possible, is probably Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I hauled this in my Christmas book haul, and whilst it was very difficult to choose between all the books that I have to read from that book haul, because there's so many and I want to read all of them right now, this one I think is what I'm going to start with, because it's not too chunky. I think I'm going to really enjoy it because it won the Goodreads Fantasy Award for the year, and I love Leigh Bardugo, so if it's anything like the humour of Six of Crows, I really hope I'm going to love it. I really hope so. And I think it'll just be a nice kind of introductory read to the new year that kind of will get me into reading for the remainder of the year, hopefully, and will avoid reading slumps as long as possible, because I was most of the year in a reading slump last year, which isn't great when you do a literature degree. But there you go. So Ninth House I think is going to be on the agenda for this week. I am travelling tomorrow to my dad's, so I will be going through the airport and we'll probably have a lot of time to read because you have to be there like an hour early. So we'll get some reading done there as well. Yeah, that's kind of all I have to say at the moment. I'm going to try and finish this book now. Oh, I'm also going to fill in my reading journal for the year. So I haven't done December yet, that's because it's not December. I haven't done January yet, and I haven't filled out the pages that I did in my reading journal setup, if you have a look at that. So I still have to fill in my physical TBR with all the books in that, and I was going to do that yesterday, but I looked at all my books and I thought, you know what, I'm not ready to write all these names down yet. So I put it off to today, and now we're going to do it. So that'll be fun. We'll see how many books I actually have that I haven't read on my shelves, which is going to be a relatively large amount looking at them. And that doesn't even include my uni shelf at home. So that'll be fun too, to add on to that next week. But there you go, I'm going to do that as well. And yeah, so today should be a fun day. And I'll get back to you when I've finished this.
Searching for affection, we're not going back. Searching for affection, but searching isn't finding. Sit back, relax, 'cause love is blinding. Searching for affection, but searching isn't finding. Sit back and relax, 'cause love is blinding.
It's a strange world we live in.
So I have made it across the
All
pond.
you
I am
want
now in
is
Guernsey, which is where
nothing.
my dad lives,
Searching
and
for
trying to get
things
lighting, but the clouds keep moving and going in and out of the sun, so I just filmed this entire video, and when I set up it was perfectly lit, and then by the end of it it was like so blown out and overexposed that I was just like a luminescent ghost, which I'm quite pale, so that does happen, but not that bad. So yes, take two. I thought I'd just come on here and tell you about how I've been reading Ninth House. So I didn't get as much reading done on the plane as I hoped. That's why I did check in yesterday. It's now the 3rd of January, if you were wondering. Mainly because I was tired late to the airport, so I had to go straight to the plane, and the plane was on the other side of the airport, so it took 25 minutes to walk there. And then the actual plane journey is quite short. It's just literally across the water, so you're up and then down pretty much straight away. So I only got to page 100 yesterday, or like 98, because I got too tired and like stopped before 100, which I kind of wish I'd read those 2 pages now, because it annoys me that they're not like at a whole 100. But there you go, what can you do? And it's in the middle of a chapter, which is also a really big bugbear of mine even. So I don't know if anyone else has that, but I definitely do. Yeah, it's not at all what I expected. I thought it would be a kind of magical urban fantasy book, which is kind of what I'd expected and what I kind of heard people talking about. Whereas at the moment, there's only been like a teensy tiny bit of magical in it, like very minuscule. And the rest of it has been about ghosts, which I feel like is more of a kind of supernatural element to it. Could be wrong, just my opinion, or my thoughts anyway. So yeah, this is kind of mainly focused around ghosts at the moment. 100 pages in, down and magic kind of has been ghosts. There's been like a concept and like a peripheral knowledge of magic being around, but ghosts is where the main characters kind of focus, and death is kind of where the main characters focus, their kind of magical interest. So the main character can see ghosts, that you find that quite early on, so I don't think that would be a spoiler, and the societies that she's kind of involved with or in charge of also are involved in ghosts and the magic that surrounds ghosts and that kind of thing. You follow 2 points of view that are in 2 different timelines. So one is in the winter and one is in the previous autumn, fall time. The 2 characters do know each other, so they have knowledge of each other, and they're kind of moving along. You do chapter by chapter and they move along like that. So I don't know whether they're going to converge or not converge. Who knows? I'm not a big fan of ghosts in stories. I've only read one, so this is based off one of my experiences, which is probably not what you should do, especially when they're by different authors. But my one experience of ghosts and general like TV, film, ghost things, I'm not a big fan. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I'm sorry. I don't know why. I think it's because they're like not fantastical. Like there's nothing magical about ghosts. They're just a bit, I don't know. But I just don't like ghosts very much, so I'm not loving it as much as I hoped. It is Leigh Bardugo's debut into adult fiction, and it doesn't have that kind of funny, light-hearted comradeship kind of element that I loved in Six of Crows, which is why I was gonna hopefully love this. So it doesn't have that, so I would go into this book with a completely different mindset to Six of Crows. Don't expect them to be similar at all, and you probably will enjoy this a lot more. I am enjoying it as I kind of accepted that quality, that I wasn't going to get that again, and I'm probably only going to get that if I reread Six of Crows, so I should do that and kind of get my like need for that out of the way. But I am starting to enjoy the kind of mystery element that's starting to be introduced. So a girl on their campus is found murdered, and the kind of main female character storyline is interested in how she died. That doesn't quite depict what it is. She is interested in the girl because she's similar to how she views herself, so she kind of wants to help find her murder, is what I think is about to happen. That hasn't completely been solidified yet, but I'm pretty sure that's what's about to happen, which I think I am going to enjoy a lot more, that kind of element of it, because I do like murder mysteries. I haven't read, I don't think, any murder mystery books, but I do love a good murder mystery TV series, like Silent Witness. Sign me up. So I think I'm going to like that a lot more. Once I've read more, I'll update you on my thoughts and see if it's improved. At the moment, I am liking it. I'm just not loving it as I hope to. I thought I'd also show you the books that I decided to bring with me to Guernsey. I'm only here for 3 full days and 1 half day, I suppose, or like less than that because we've got to get to the airport. 3 full days and 2 travel days. So I've only brought one other kind of fun book, shall we say, and that is Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron. And this is about a girl who is born into a family of witch doctors, and she's the only one that has no magic. She tries all different types of magic and finally results to one that is kind of frowned upon or forbidden, and the kind of repercussions of that is this book kind of as it unravels, I think. I'll let you know, but I brought this one, so my goal is to finish Ninth House and start this one by the end of my time here. We'll see how that goes. And the other book I bought is one that I have to read for uni, and that is the Poetic Edda. I've talked about this a few times now on my channel, but if you don't know, this is a Old Norse book. It is about Viking myth and legend, and it is the aftermath of Ragnarok. So I've just found out that this is actually my first 4 weeks worth of reading, which is like, very excited for that. So I'm going to try and read the first 2 weeks worth of that, and that's only the first like 100 pages. It's only like 280 pages long anyway, so very excited. Hopefully we'll read the first 100 pages this week and get the first 2 weeks done of that module reading done. So yeah, those are the books I brought with me. I'm not sure what else I'll be getting up to this week. I come to Guernsey quite a lot because my dad lives here, obviously, and I was born here. So I don't tend to do a lot whilst I'm here, like go and see the sights and everything. Apart from that, I'm just going to be reading, editing you, and that's about it. That's all I've got planned. So yeah, I shall see you next time. Okay, so I've only read about 60 pages since I last saw you, and it's been a few hours. I've had lunch and kind of faffed around a lot. But I thought I would just come on here because it just got weird. Yeah, so big trigger warning for rape in this book. It is quite descriptive. She's quite young when it happens. I think she's about 12. But it's also a very weird situation as it is a ghost that rapes her. So I've never read that before. That was a new experience for me in my reading career. And I've just read another bit that I won't spoil because it's kind of quite a tense moment or like a adrenaline moment. And that was another weird bit because it also involved a ghost and kind of poltergeisty, non-poltergeisty, weird, abnormal, poltergeisty stuff. So I just thought I'd come on and say that. I don't really have anything else to say apart from that, so nice little update for you. I'm starting to enjoy it a bit more because of these kind of tense moments. It's kind of building a bit more. There's more kind of adrenaline in there. Just generally, there kind of seems to be a bit more of a building story. So whilst it might have been a slow start, being 160 pages in, I'm still not halfway, so that's plenty of time for it to have built up over time. I don't feel like it was too elongated or too overdone. And yeah, it has just switched to another point of view which hasn't quite got the same interesting elements to it yet. Hopefully it will start to get a bit more interesting because obviously something must have happened at the end of this timeline before the other timeline starts. If that doesn't make any sense. So, because as I said before, there's 2 timelines probably about 3 months apart, and we're missing something from the start of the timeline to the end of that timeline. So something must build up to something, and I'm hoping it gets there soon because I want to know what happens. I do believe this is a standalone, which is interesting because I hope it all rounds up nicely. I hate standalones that end when nothing is fully concluded or there are like leftover bits. I'm currently on page 163, so hopefully we'll read another 40 pages today and get 100 pages done. I think it's like 450 pages, so I'll be nearly halfway at that point, which is quite cool. And yeah, excited for that. It's exactly 450 pages, so excited. Maybe I'll try and get maybe a bit more. Maybe I'll try and get 125 pages done today, and then I'll have read halfway, because I always like being half. I like being like a third of the way through or a fourth of the way through or halfway through a book when I finish at the end of the day. It's just nice. It's a nice time. So yeah, that's just a short update for you, and I'll probably update you tomorrow or later this evening, depending on when I decide to. Hello, so it's Saturday and I've read about 270 pages of Ninth House. I read about 50 pages this morning and I got to about 220 pages yesterday, so I've still got a bit more reading that I want to get done today. It's only about midday, so I think I'll get quite a bit done, and I have to say I'm beginning to like this a lot more. The main character, Alex, is starting to get a lot more kind of oomph about her. She's developing a lot, she's becoming more confident, kind of stronger, and she's overcoming a lot of kind of her doubts and trepidations and kind of problems that she's had in the past, and I think it's becoming quite an interesting story. I definitely like the murder aspects to it. That's kind of getting built upon a lot, and there's different layers that are coming in, different kind of twists and turns and things that I'm hoping all kind of link up, because I think that would be really interesting if they did. I have to say I'm not enjoying the second point of view quite so much. So that is Darlington, who is Alex's friend or kind of mentor that she meets at the start of her experience at Yale. So I am kind of ploughing through his part. His part is a lot smaller, he doesn't have as many chapters, so it's not the end of the world that I'm not enjoying it as much. And like I said last time, I'm sure it's going to get better as it gets further into the story and as I kind of figure out how it kind of merges into the later on storyline of Alex's, which is obviously what I'm enjoying more. I haven't read any uni stuff yet. Do need to get on with that, but I keep putting it off. But you know, I'm technically on holiday here, so maybe we'll have to wait till next week, which isn't good, but never mind, never mind. So yeah, that's just my little update. I don't know how much. I think I'm going out this afternoon, maybe just to get like a hot chocolate or something, so nothing too exciting, but that's all I've got planned. Apart from that, I'll be reading, editing, YouTubing, chilling, basically. And yeah, I just thought I'd let you know that I'm enjoying it a lot more. It is definitely perhaps a slow burner, but I think that's good. I like the way the character's developing. I think that's always an important part. If the character's the same at the start and the same at the end, what's the point of those 400 pages you read? But there was a bit where I was just like, yes, that was a good thing for her to do, or kind of like an empowering moment for her. So I enjoyed that, and I hope to see that more coming, and I think that is coming through a lot more now as she kind of gets more confident in her role as the person she is in Yale. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it, not that that's much of a spoiler, but she's kind of got an important role in the societies and maintaining the societies that focus on magic, and as I said, the magical elements are kind of coming a lot more into it. It's not just about ghosts, obviously that plays a big part of it, but the magic is kind of not like elemental, it's not from the kind of inner person, it's not a part of their essence, it's something that they have to manipulate and they have to control, and they have to do things like take potions or use special dust and that kind of thing to manipulate and create, which is quite interesting, and I think it fits with the kind of contemporary modern day society of like, it's not a fantastical world, it is this world, and that fits a little bit more. The ghosts fit less so because obviously they're not, well, for me they're not possible to see, but I suppose they do make it possible because you could see the ghost through like an elixir that they create in the story, so maybe it is possible. So it's kind of allowing the possibility of ghosts a little bit more, which I kind of like. I kind of like how magic is still a possibility, which is kind of a big part of the book, that it creates a possibility of magic and that magic is real and you haven't been like lied to as a child, I think is what they say in it. So yeah, I'm enjoying that aspect a lot more. I do think I prefer the fantastical magic of fantasy and made up worlds and the kind of made up side of it, because then it is slightly more magical, whereas like compulsion and I suppose they do have shape-shifting, which is quite cool, but that's not really a big focus of it. It's kind of more manipulation of others through magic and through different kind of sources of magic, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but yeah, that's all I have to say. I'll check back on you tomorrow. No, so it's currently Sunday and it's about 5 to 4 in the afternoon. I spent most of the morning reading and I managed to read about 70 pages of Ninth House, so I've only got about 50 pages of it left. And then I went to the cinema and saw Jumanji 2. Highly recommend if you like the first one, it's quite funny, although my bum did not appreciate sitting on those seats for 2 hours. not the comfiest of cinemas on Guernsey, I have to say. But yeah, that was fun. Would recommend. Definitely go. I do plan on finishing the rest of Ninth House today. I am starting to really enjoy it. I think the story has become a lot more complex. The characters have become a lot more complex. There are so many different layers and kind of different parts of it working together now, and I really hope it comes together in the last 50 pages. There is, I feel, a lot to still happen in those 50 pages, so I hope it's not rushed and it all does come together and bits aren't left out, because as I said before, I do really hate that when that happens in a mystery. So yeah, almost finished that. I plan to finish that this evening, and I probably will. It's only 50 pages. If not, I will stay up and I'll finish it tonight, because I can't leave 50 pages unread. That's just like really frustrating. So yes, this is probably the last entry I'll do for this weekly vlog, because I will be starting afresh tomorrow, and if I finish Ninth House today, I probably won't mention it again in the next vlog, just because I'll be starting afresh and talking about new books and new things. But I will be talking about it in my monthly wrap-up that I'm planning to do at the end of the month, so if you do want to find out what my final thoughts are, stay tuned. Currently it is at a 4-star rating in my head, and hopefully it stays there. Or if the book is like amazing, it might go up to like a 4.5 star. If it's not, it might drop a bit, but who knows. It is very hard for a book to get a 5-star in my head. The 3-star is kind of like the average book. 4-star is a really good book, but a 5-star is like the mind-blowing, mind-boggling, all-obsessive, oh my gosh, it's amazing, everyone has to read it book, which Ninth House isn't quite for me. It is a really good book, I really do enjoy it, and I really would recommend it. Hopefully I can still say that when I finish it. But yeah, books that I just loved from start to finish, like as soon as I opened it, to the ones as soon as I closed that book and I kind of obsessed over and pushed people to read and want people to read, those are the kind of books that I give 5 stars to. So they are reserved for very special books that not many get, sadly. But yeah, so a 4-star is a very good book for me, and I really want to give this book a 4-star rating. I do think this is a generally quite good book. If you are at all into murder mysteries, definitely go for it. I haven't read many murder mysteries. Obviously I watch quite a lot of murder mystery like TV shows, so I wouldn't be able to say on like a literary basis how well it fits into that genre, but I enjoyed it, so who knows, you might enjoy it too. And if you like paranormal, supernatural, fantasy elements, also would recommend, because it has a lot of that in. And I think it is done quite well. Like, it doesn't feel completely disjointed. It feels a little bit disjointed, but I think that's just me as a person, that I don't really get on with kind of ghost elements within a story. It's just not something I tend to read. It's not something I enjoy particularly reading or find very interesting. That's totally a personal choice. I think it is done well for what it is, and the kind of magic system is different to what I expected, different to how I'm normally used to reading things, but I do think that also was done well and kind of becomes more realistic the more you read it, or for me, I found that anyway. So yeah, definitely did enjoy it, definitely would recommend it. Hopefully we'll say the same in my wrap up, but who knows. So yeah, I'm going to round off things there. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. I don't think it's been too interesting, so sorry about that. It's been a bit hard to film things here, but next week I will be back at home for a few days before I move back to my uni house, and once I'm there it should be easier to film things. I have quite exciting videos planned for when I'm back at uni, so hopefully they'll be okay. Hopefully you'll like them. We'll see. So yeah, I think I'm going to round things off there. I shall see you tomorrow, for me, but not for you. Probably in a week's time for you. So see you then. So I've just finished Ninth House, and I wasn't planning on coming on here and telling my thoughts, but I just had to, because I was a bit angry there for a minute, because Leah Bardugo did what I didn't want her to do, and she left it on the biggest cliffhanger, and I was ready to go mad, because I had it in my head that this was the only book, it wasn't going to be a series, and I was like, it has to be all rounded up nice and neatly. But I kept my cool, and I looked it up, and it is a series. There is a second book coming out. So I think it's actually a duology. Don't quote me on that, because clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. But it is not an own individual book. It is a duology, or it has a second part to it coming, which I am so glad at, because the one thing that I didn't think was going to have time to wrap up in those last 50 pages obviously didn't, and it's not going to. So it does have another book coming for it, which I am very excited for, because the character in it I've started to really like, and I want more from it. I want more from the kind of storyline, the complexities, the mystery, the murders, all that kind of thing. And yeah, I actually really enjoyed it. A lot more than I thought it was going to be. It's not going to be like a favourite book of mine, but I did really like it, and I think it was such a good read to start the year off. And yeah, I just thought I'd come and say that I was mad for a second, but now I'm not. Now I'm just waiting. This came out in October last year, so I'm hoping the next one comes out in October this year, but it could be next year. No release date, there's no blurb, there's no like title, there's no anything on Goodreads, it's just an untitled Alex Stern #2, which is the main character in this. So there's a lot to be revealed from that. I don't know how long that kind of timeline typically is from it being like a title release to it actually being released. So who knows, but hopefully it's this year, because I need it. I want to read it. Yeah, that's it. That's all I want to say. Very short, very sweet, but yeah, my final thoughts-ish. If you've read Ninth House, let me know what you thought. Comment down below, I'd be interested to talk to you about it, especially the ending and the way it all tied together. I wasn't specifically shocked, like out of the world shocked, because I feel like to be completely shocked, I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to say that. But I think to be completely shocked, there had to be a more definite person that you thought it was, but there wasn't, or I didn't think there was. But maybe you felt differently. Who knows? But yeah. So please comment below, like this video if you liked it and would like to see more of them. And yeah, I'll see you next time.